How to level and gear your alts nice and quick in Dragonflight patch 10.0.7. Lots of methods are now outdated and irrelevant, so let me break it all down to you. TLDR, too long didn't read style. In short, I recommend that you level your alts only during Timewalking Weeks, and then build your alt gearing strategy, unsurprisingly, around the Forbidden Reach tokens. There are some nuances and a sequence I recommend though, so make yourselves comfortable if you aren't already, give the video a like while you're at it, and let's go through it one by one. So, firstly, leveling. I'm mainly looking here at leveling for ALT-oholics, people with many alts, same as myself. Safely assuming that your army of alts to level is at least around level 50, if not 60 already. If you are an altoholic, once again, similar to how I play. If your character is below level 60, just do the introduction quests and then pick Chromie Time. Quest from your main city, go talk to Chromie and go to the Warlords of Draenor expansion that I can't demonstrate to you right now on the screen because all my alts are out of that phase already, but this is where you go. And Warlords of Draenor is currently known to give the most experience per hour as you just quest and level up. Don't forget to use the drink from your garrison vendor, you will find one there. That will increase your XP gains by 10% further, on top of already very modest XP requirements per level. You'll be dinging all the time. Once you're level 60 and do qualify for time walking, take a look at the in-game calendar. And notice how time walking event happens every 2 weeks. So plan for what I call breathe in, breathe out type of cycle and strategy, where during the time walking week you focus on leveling your alts, while during the no time walking weeks you gear up your fresh level 70s. The way to level is by running time walking dungeons repeatedly. It especially applies for tanks and healers, as their queue is going to be almost instant, and while as a tank you do have to work a little bit running ahead of your group, as a healer you honestly can basically just snooze and run behind your group, topping them up and saying thanks for all the fat XP that you will be getting, as everyone absolutely blasts through those dungeons these days and destroys them because highly geared level 70s are running them too for weekly quest reward that they and you, at a slightly later stage when we will talk about gearing, will be interested in too. Why run time walking dungeons as opposed to normal dungeons? Well, because they give a lot more experience for completion of the dungeon, almost double compared to your normal expansion dungeon. That is why we're doing that. If you get bored of doing the same thing over and over and over and over, which is of course possible, do what a DPS players would do. Pick an easy zone to quest in, such as Gogrond in the Warlords of Draenor, if you're still within the Chromie Time level range, or I personally go for Anaron Plains on Dragon Isles once we're there, as it's very flat, easy to navigate, and offers a ton of leather on top of all, all of the experience from all the beasts that are slaughtered by the raids of people who bother doing hunts. I personally do not recommend or bother doing any of those renowned activities like cooking the Tuscara soup before you ask. Yes, it might be fun for about 30 seconds, but it's not worth my time, and it probably would not be worth your time either. So do a few quests, here and there, in between dungeon queue popping, to have a little bit of variety. That's my recommendation for you. If you are leveling through Warlords of Draenor Chromie Time, also collect treasures and do world quest objectives, as those give you the highest bang for the buck experience, and you will be on Dragon Isles around level 60, ready for time walking before you know it. Once you're doing level 70, it helps to have Rich Uncle Main or another alt in the game already who can send you a ton of tokens from the Forbidden Reach waiting for you in the mailbox. Obviously it will be slightly slower and more of a, let's call it, scenic route if it's your first level 70, but you should still get up there in terms of eye levels before you know it. First thing that I do when my alt dings 70 is fly over to the weekly world boss on the map and kill the world boss. Chance of getting a 395 piece of gear is low-ish, I would say, but if you get it, it's a very nice boost and it saves you not wasting one of the Forbidden Reach token slots as well as the upgrade token. Next thing, are the tokens that I've already been talking about. So if you do have a rich uncle, enjoy and dress up right now. If you don't, then go do Hidden Legacies quest that will pop up as soon as your alt enters Valdrakken. So go to the top of Valdrakken Tower, talk to the NPC there, watch a cinematic, and then head over to the Forbidden Reach for a free BOA eye level 385 cloak and at least one token of the Forbidden Knowledge that you should save, not use it now, for later to upgrade a more meaningful piece of gear, such as a weapon, when you get one, to level 395. As you come to the Forbidden Reach, you start killing rares to get more tokens and elemental overflow currency, which you can then spend on buying sacks of oddities from the Iron Dwarf renowned vendor in the main camp on the Reach. I've reviewed this method of sack buying in another video that you can watch anytime on my channel, so I'm not gonna waste any of your time here with that. You should prioritize doing a couple of the Forbidden Reach intro quests that unlock Skera Vaults, an incredibly underwhelming feature of the game that had great potential, but Blizzard absolutely stuffed it. But the first visit there is absolutely necessary to get your free eye level 405 ring with 3 sockets that you put in special stones into. That will in turn turn the ring into eye level 411, which is insanely awesome for a fresh green level 70 alt. Those stones, you find them in the vault, but once you found them, there is absolutely no reason to revisit the vaults, which is what really makes those vaults completely boring and rather unnecessary. Very, very sadly. Very sad to say that. Around this time you could also, but don't have to, queue for looking for raid LFR very early on, as with even a few tokens you should be within the eye level range of 359 that is required to queue for LFR. The items that you'd get there potentially would be below the eye level that you want and that you can get from the Forbidden Reach, like you will not get all the high eye level tokens, but there is a situation that you can get lucky with the weapons there first of all, or a particular, let's say, trinket before something good drops from the Reach for you. Plus, the Reach token for a trinket will only give you 1 trinket. You cannot get 2 trinkets from the Reach, so you will need another one anyway. Do you know what I mean? In any order here, you should also start looking at the world quest rewards across Dragon Isles map you know, now that your eye level is decent enough to push the eye level of those rewards higher too. Especially things like that second trinket that I keep telling you about. If you didn't get one from LFR, then world quest rewards are the way to go. Also, I would look for weapons. Because weapons are truly rare, and even if your main, your main already is completely equipped, your alts probably, especially those that use 2 weapons, let's say Demon Hunters, let's say Monks, or Enhancement Shaman, you probably need 2 weapons, and those tokens from the Reach for weapons are actually rather hard to come by. Finally, there is such thing that is called Revival Catalyst. Let's take a look at Revival Catalyst, because that is definitely one thing to push your gearing a little bit further up. It lets you do a little bit of group content each week, such as LFR or running a few mythic dungeons each week to fill up a bar of like group content activity. You need to do only 4 dungeons to fill up that bar fully. It gives you a kind of conversion charge, for the lack of a better word, for 1 piece of gear, like a catalyst charge, for 1 piece of gear per week. This, if you do this quest, so to speak, each week, that charge gets given to all of your alts, which is most important. So you've done it on 1 alt, but every single alt and every one of your subsequent alts that you haven't even finished leveling yet, they will get these charges, which is awesome. You can only store up to 6 charges per character, so you need to kinda, in order not to waste them after a certain point in time, you need to keep an eye on that and sort of use them up, so to speak. That charge allows you to convert any mythic piece of gear or one of those Forbidden Reach token gear pieces into your class set. It won't increase the item level, but the 4-piece set would arguably be better for your class performance than the set that you get from the Forbidden Reach, which is in turn also better than nothing for sure, especially for a fresh alt, but that set from the Forbidden Reach would not be optimized for your class, while this one will be. So once you have the Forbidden Reach gear piece, or something from a random mythic dungeon that you randomly decided to run, I deliberately don't include this method of gearing up as the most obvious one in this guide, because you'd know about that and you would be doing that if you wanted to. Once you have that, you could consider taking that piece of gear towards this catalyst, revival catalyst, and converting it into your set piece. And that's essentially it, my friends. This is how I recommend a casual player who mostly plays solo to level up and gear up their alts these days in Dragonflight patch 10.0.7. Patch 10.1 will bring more options, but lifting, up eye level rewards from regular dungeons and LFR would absolutely create a need for us to review these methods of leveling and gearing. Not leveling, probably gearing mostly. But for now, in 10.0.7, it's rather straightforward, rather simplistic, and kind of, one would say, a bit boring when it comes to casually, at least, gearing up your characters in World of Warcraft. But why complicate things if things are just simple? And it is what it is. They are very, very simple these days. Did I miss a trick or more? In maybe a more optimized way, perhaps, to do something in this guide in regards to leveling or gearing up alts? Don't be shy if I did, and leave a comment below the video. I appreciate any input from you if you're not a flat-out troll, and I always look to improve my own gameplay and the content that I offer my audience. If you haven't subscribed yet but play similarly to me, why not subscribe? And give the video a like so that more players like you and I can see it, because the more of us here collaborating and chatting in the comments, the merrier, right? I thank you very much for watching, and I will talk to you next time.